we're going to start back working on our handout, the last page. Before we start problem 19, I want to be sure that you understand what angle of elevation and angle of depression mean. Angle of elevation, if you're standing on the ground looking at the top of a building, the angle of elevation is the angle made with the horizontal plane and the object above the horizontal, the object that you're looking at up there. So that is the angle of elevation. If you're talking about angle of depression, it's like you're standing on top of the building and looking down at an object. The angle of depression is the angle made from the horizontal down to the object on the ground. Problem number 19. A tower leans at an angle of about 84.7 degrees. The figure shows that 199 feet from the base of the tower, the angle of elevation to the top is 45.2 degrees. So this is 199. It's kind of hard to see, but this is 199. This angle of elevation is 45.2. Find the distance to the nearest foot from the base to the top of the tower. So we're looking for this. If this is side B, if this is angle B, this is side B. We want to know the length of that. Let's use law of sines. I need to make a ratio. 199 is to the sine of angle C. Subtract 180 minus 45.2 minus 84.7. That tells you that this angle C is 50.1 degrees. So 199 is to the sine of 50.1, as side B is to the sine of 45.2. Cross multiply, divide. B equals 199 times the sine of 45.2 divided by the sine of 50.1, approximately 184 feet. Fairly easy little problem. Number 20. A pine tree growing on a hillside makes a 72-degree angle with the hill. From a point 80 feet up the hill, the angle of elevation to the top is 65 degrees and the angle of elevation to the bottom is 23 degrees. Find to the nearest tenth of a foot the height of the tree. Well, I drew this a little bigger for you so that maybe we could kind of point out what they're saying. They're telling me that this angle is 72 degrees. They're telling me that from the tree to some point up the hill is 80 feet. They're telling me that the angle of elevation is 65 degrees. They're telling me that the angle of depression is 23 degrees. So actually what they're telling me is that this whole angle is 65 plus 23. This whole angle is 88 degrees. If I know the measure of two of those angles of that triangle, then I can subtract 180 minus 72 minus 88, and I know that angle C is 20 degrees. Now, I know an angle, an opposite side. I can use law of sines and solve this. 80 is to the sine of 20, as B is to the sine of 88. Cross multiply. B equals 80. Sine of 88 divided by the sine of 20, which is approximately 233.8 feet. Number 21. Trees in a local park are hundreds of feet tall. The height of one of these trees is represented by H in this figure. First thing I want you to do is to find all the angles. Find all the angles by using your knowledge of geometry. You know that the supplement of 25's 155 degrees. We got that one. We know that 180 minus 155 minus 15 gives me 10 degrees. So I know this one's 10 degrees. I know that this one is 180, well this one would be 90 minus 25, that's the most efficient way to do that. So it's 65 degrees. Now, use law of sines. I'm going to start with triangle ABC. I'm going to find the length of this side A. A is to the sine of 15 degrees as 425 is to the sine of 10 degrees. A is approximately 633 feet. That's this side right here. Now that I know that side, I could really use a trig function like sine, cosine, or tangent. Because I have a right triangle, I'm trying to find this side H. Well, that's opposite. That's hypotenuse. Step 3, I would say, is the sine of 25 degrees equals H over 633. H equals 633 times the sine of 25. And we know that that is approximately 267 feet.